All right, I'm back. It's still day 6. It's about almost 5 p.m. Um, yeah, I went out to lunch with Nick and his little boy Louie. That was nice. And but unfortunately, when I came back to the studio, I always keep my little key card fob thing in my front right pocket, and wouldn't you know it, it wasn't there. So I was locked out of the studio. Fortunately, another person here, Moa, that has our residency, heard me banging on the door and ringing the bell, so she got me in. But yeah, I didn't leave it in here. It somehow, somewhere, left my front right pocket, and it's maybe at the restaurant or the quarter mile it takes to get there. So yeah, bummer, but Daniel's gonna be here at 5, and we're gonna chat for the podcast, and so he'll make me a new one. But yeah, I was showing Nick while he was here, kind of the Suzanne type of patching through out of here into here. So I came back and kind of expanded on that because I wanted to mess with the quad. I kind of hadn't really done much quad in the past day or so. So yeah, I got back to it, and then I also brought in the 288V time domain processor, and kind of exploring its different preset outputs, and also its write and recircle. I don't know. I don't know what that recirc. I don't know if you can see that. So what's cool, what I've kind of found out about the 227, not really kind of known what these other inputs normal to / tape 1 outputs. But what I found is for each of the 4 channels, it will go into the specific kind of quad channel up here. So, if you put it in here, you're going to get the rear right channel. And then this is front right, left front, and rear left. There's something kind of glitchy. I think both of these sliders are not working because I'm not getting any inputs. I might hear just for a split second when I put in the signal. It kind of blips, but then it's gone. And I really cranked this one up earlier, and it was kind of going for a second. I might try and mess with that again and just crank everything up and keep a lower overall program level out. So because only three were working and this one wasn't, I wanted to get 4 different outputs out of this. I'm getting signals out of A, B, C, and D here, but I wasn't getting one out of D, so I just used the secondary panel mix because there's 2 outputs for that. So I went into this channel and then just have the front or the rear left chosen. So instead of swapping around, so that's my rear left, and then front left, front right, rear right. So yeah, all the delay signals are going through there, but yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Then I have direct signals. Yeah, I have 2. So I have 2 oscillators going into, just taking both out from the signal all on the 292 into the mixer. And then, so I did get the other side kind of working. Oh, and I can already tell it's freaked out. I didn't have sloped or anything chosen earlier, so we'll see if I can get back to my patch. But I had this being clocked by random, I've got random in down here doing the external. They're both getting kind of pulsed out of the sequential voltage source 245, but this one is kind of going linearly, where this one, oh yeah, this one's like kind of still working. You can see it's jumping around to different stages. So every one that it goes on, it's going through 4 notes here, and the 2 oscillators are kind of they're tuned somewhat relatively, like good enough. And then I have time outputs going to the timbres of both the oscillators I'm using, but it's like they're kind of swapped. So pitches from this one might be going to this oscillator, but the time to the timbre is going out to the other oscillator, and then vice versa. So yeah, just kind of more randomness with everything. So yeah, I'm looking here, like, yeah, just like added a bunch of, or yeah, added some last thing randomly, but I think I got it back to working. Then I've got the 218 involved by not doing any pitches, but every time I hit the key, I've got a pulse going to the recirculate, so it'll kind of hold those that delay, and then if I tap it again, it'll let it go. I'm doing that by going into the source of uncertainty into the sample and hold section. So you've got the pulse in, and then there's the alternate pulse outs. So basically every other time, or like every other time you press it, the pulse is going to come out of one or the other. So it's like if it'll go left and then right, left, right. So you can see over here every time I press it once, it's going to recirculate, and then right. You know, so yeah, I think that's, oh, and then I've got the preset voltage knob CVing the time on this one. So to turn things up, so let's see, I guess I didn't just talk about this. So the kind of trying to think what I've got going here. Oh yeah, so I have the all out going into the time domain processor, but I also have 2 outputs for each of the oscillators going into these first 2 channels, and then these have voltages going into panning that, you know, goes pretty randomly. I think one's stepped, and then the other is just a couple 281. Yeah, this one's 281, like 2 of the envelopes going, where this one is more stepped. So just to hear the delayed signal, and then I can bring in the more direct signals too. So then if I go down here and press a button, you can kind of hear that it's paused the delay. And then if I turn the knob up, I get a short flangery type of reverb. And then if I let it go, so press it again, then it snaps back. I can also change the cycle time here. So that was in the middle. Now this is full cycle. So the holds kind of aren't as fast, if that makes sense. And if I go to the middle, faster, short cycle, then they're really bugging out. And you can kind of switch it back and forth and get different textures from it. See, that was kind of different from before. Now I'm back on short. So yeah, I kind of recorded this patch, and then I looked down at one point after I was done. I think I noticed myself like I brushed my foot forward, and I don't know if there's, I probably mentioned before, there's like thinking there's some static electricity situation going on here. And this all of a sudden just like freaked out. Because it's like an anti-static mat, and it plugs in. There's like a little sensor thing over there. I don't quite understand it, but I came back and this was just freaking out, like going so fast. I don't know what happened, but it sounded beautiful. So then I just spent like 10 minutes recording that, and then kind of putting my old patch back together, like kind of played it in time by putting it back, and it sounded great. So for all the kind of frustration that I've had with this thing, it gave me something back today, which was nice. A good redemption patch. So but yeah, Daniel should be here any minute, and yeah, hopefully you'll hear his interview with me, and yeah, all we can learn about this system.